everybody. Don't really have anything in terms of, opening remarks, so I guess we just go on to the minutes and review those.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hey there. How you doing? Good, good.
Did we actually discuss the April minutes and just not vote on them, or did,
Well,
I don't even remember.
we didn't have a quorum. We
Yeah,
didn't have a quorum.
so we didn't.
So we need to approve April and May. Okay.
Yeah, we've got
Yeah.
2 steps to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody need more time on this or?
No,
Nope.
that'll be good.
All right. I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Okay.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that was easy. And then do we have May as well, or do
We
we?
do.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're very
Yeah.
short.
Yeah.
What's that?
The
But
May
maybe
minutes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing there, and I already told Devin, was he needed to add your name, because you couldn't be here for the May meeting.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
Move we approve them with Dr. Napier's correction.
okay,
I'm second.
second, all in favor,
Okay.
opposed? All right.
Thank you, Keith, for doing that for me. I was
No,
easy.
that
I
was-
just, yeah, let's just get that because, yeah. I should have done it right away, but it's like, had so much going on and then I forgot a lot of it, but he's a pro at it. Okay, so I guess we're up on the airport manager's reports. So if you look at the financial, up there, we had another good month in May. June, as I say, June, July is, kind of our slow months, but May continues on to be a good month for us, and it did. If you look at leases, we have a variance of about $7,800. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the Hanson, right? The Hanson lease. So we didn't receive the Hanson lease payment in May. Davin called and, it will be actually hitting in June. So we'll have two of those payments in June. Everything else looks good. Our airport fees continue to do well. Looking at the expenses, our fuel, avgas is right in line pretty much with the budget. Cost of goods sold on Jet A is, higher, but we did have a higher, revenue, so that was good. Everything else is in line pretty much there. So, yeah, we had a total revenue minus expenses of 87,000, bringing our, year-to-date actual to 961,000. So I'm very, very optimistic we'll hit $1 million mark, with our revenue minus expenses and the actual. And then, our operations, we had about 20, almost 2,900 operations in May. That brought the number to 35,596 And we had, budgeted year to date, we figured we'd get about 40,500. I don't think we're gonna make that number, but we'll come very close at the end of our fiscal year. As far as avgas gallons, we have got, 87,406 so far in May. We budgeted 138. We'll fall short on that, of course. Avgas is just pretty high right now. I hope when we get that our self-serve, that will help us, in our avgas sales, which I know it will, because we'll definitely have some good prices on that. And then the Jet A gallons through May, we've had 493,000. And we budgeted for 131. Hey, Nikki, how you doing? Good. So everything's looking good still on come on up here. We got plenty of room. Everything's still looking good on the expenses. Any questions? The capital improvements, Andrew continues to work on the design and of our Alpha project. We had several geotech folks out here a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and he wanted an area out there where they're going to be doing some retention ponds. Also redesigning Bravo 3. It's gonna also in the plans to go straight instead of kind of curved. So he wanted to make sure that there was no rock in the area. So they had picked 6 different holes for that area. He wanted to go down 10 feet and make sure there was no rock. They got down, I think the 5th hole, there were 5 of them that were good. And then the 6th hole, they went down 6 feet and all was good. Hit a little bit of rock, and then they got past that rock and were able to go to the 10 feet. So that whole area that he was concerned about seems to be okay. He did have some drone work out here. I think it was last Saturday, maybe, to do some survey work for the Alpha project. And so that's coming along good. It seems like he's gathering all his information that he needs to do a good design on it. And then move forward. The 220 project, they did the paving on it. They finished that up about a week ago, maybe a little more than a week, probably 2 weeks ago, because it's cured. I think 2 more weeks would be cured. So since then, they did a temporary markings on it. And so they've got that on there. The rain has just gotten us on that project as far as delay. They've all that they really have left is to do the safety areas, the ends where you see all the dirt going on. So that has to be built up, and then the edges of the runway has to be dressed as well. And then once the edges are dressed, then the electricians will come in and do the final, put the runway lights in for the final installation. So all that has to be somewhat dry. They really didn't do a whole lot yesterday, just letting a lot of that dirt dry up. And then today they actually were moving a lot of dirt back and forth from the site. So it was good seeing them moving along. And hopefully, who knows what this weather does, but hopefully we'll have some really hot days. I mean, really hot days. And that dirt can dry up really good, and then we can get it done. So I'm really happy with the project so far. GDOT's happy with it too. They've come out and then inspected it as well on a periodic basis, and they're happy with what they see too. As far as the fencing project, that we got funding for that, GDOT funding. It's kind of on us. We're doing it internal. So I've got a agenda item going in front of the mayor and commission. We have an agenda item meeting, I think Friday, to go over it with the manager for Structural Resources, a contractor, local contractor here who has an on-call contract with the county. Let them do it. And they're actually the ones that had done the ROFA project for us and did a good job, did a real good job. So I'm excited to get them going on this project if it's all approved.
They work for us over at GA quite a bit.
Do they?
Do good for us.
They are good folks.
Who are they, Mike?
Structural Resources.
Oh, is that the name? Okay.
Yeah. And it's a local, but good folks do a good job. They've got they can do a lot of things, you know, but they're well qualified. I'll talk about the tower too. We, right now, the FAA and the tower siting folks are talking about the 3 locations, you know, that we identified. One was over there, near the jail. 2 of them were over here. The one over here was on the hill, just right here, next to our parking lot. And the other one was over there where the Sonny's hangar is, the Quonset looking hangar. And so, and I talked to them today because what they need is 2 acres. And I said, I could probably accommodate 2 acres over here, but they showed me 2 acres over here and they showed me 2 acres over there. And I told them last week, I said, that's not gonna happen. I said, we can't do 2 acres there. And I knew this day would come when they probably ask for the moon, you know, and then I'd have to back them down a little bit. Well, this morning was that day. So we had a Teams meeting with FAA and them, the siting folks, and the engineer, their engineer, and she was very knowledgeable, you know, as to really what their minimum would be that they need. And I told them, I said, you know, because what they wanted to do, pretty much they would take up that other parking lot we had. So it'd be this hill and the parking lot. And I said, no, and then over there where Sonny's is, they would take up Sonny's and a good portion of the ramp over there. And I said, no. And so we met this morning and we came to a decision, an acre. They can do an acre, you know, over there, and they can do an acre over there. And we played with, you know, the angles and whatnot. And it looks like it's gonna work just fine. I still like this area over here with the hill. They are asking for just a hair more to the north on that, which is fine. And the reason they do, she explained it to me. And it's, you know, all the regulations that you have with retention ponds. And, you know, if you build this, you know, you're disturbing dirt, you gotta build this, you know, and in Athens-Clarke County, if you're familiar with Athens-Clarke County, you know, there's a lot of rules, regulations, you've probably been through them. And what they require. And so they just want to make sure that they have enough land. And we're not selling the land to them. Don't get me wrong on that, but you know, that they have enough land that they can work with. And so that's kind of where we are right now.
So are they gonna take the park away?
No, I don't think so. If they do, we'll move it, just down a little bit, but I don't think so. I think that will still stay there.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be barely there, but I think it'll still be there.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, there's a sort of a transition area anyway there that
There
if
is.
they want, you know,
yeah,
we'll
I-
move the bench and the picnic table.
yeah, right. And then one other thing, you know, we had, discussed, Diane and Keith and myself and I think Davin had met, and we talked about, you know, we talked about financials, we talked about budget, and they were curious, you know, as to how we go, how our budget calendar matches up, you know, and what we have to follow. So, you know, they thought it'd be nice if I reported on that to the group here and kind of let everybody know kind of the process that we go through, you know, on the budget. You have any more? Okay. I'll wait till he gets there then. I could have made copies, but. Start off by saying that we usually start the process in September, I guess. And so this is this is a calendar that I put together, but it's basically, I just copied and pasted, what they give us, because they give us a pretty good calendar as well. But there's some things in there that don't pertain to us, so I just kind of took those out. But this is what we had to go through, in preparation for the, budget this year. So October 31st, the FY 24 budget, and CIP requests and update packages were sent to us. November 17th, operating request packages sent to the departments, and then in November 18th, the departments and constitutional law officials submitted updated 24 capital budget CIP requests. Then in December, request for additional positions, new initiatives, which we didn't have any this year, but I put it in there just so you know, a timeline on that. January 4th, the departments submit complete operating budget requests. So first, what we do, we submit the capital, and then they get that. And then second, we work on our operating budgets and then turn that in. So then January through February, the manager's office met with the departments to review the budget, which they did. Davin and I went over there and we talked with Nikki and Blaine and several others as well, some finance folks. And then April, mayor submits his 24 recommended budget. And then in May, commission meets to review the budget. June, 24 operating capital budget and millage rate adoption. And then July 1st, which would be the new fiscal year. So that's basically the budget calendar in a nutshell, and that's what we normally follow. And I can provide a copy of this if you want it.
Yeah, be interesting to have.
Yeah, it is. Well, it all flows very well. And finance does a good job, and making sure that we all have what we need. They give us some good work sheets and we go from there.
Mike, I think you said, is it December that you do an estimate of where you're gonna end up for the year?
Yeah,
That's like halfway into the year, fiscal year, you do an estimate of change, so that the city just kind of knows where things are headed.
yeah, I do that. And
But you track that more frequently though than just every 6 months.
oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
yeah. Yeah, I do. I track it.
I think you said you have a submission.
Do we have a submission? I don't think we do. I think we just track it, I don't think we do. But they are, well, I think we
there
do.
was an
Yes,
estimated number,
you're right,
like-
you're right.
Here, we were
Yeah.
talking about your estimate for.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
project.
finance does send that out.
Fiscal
Yep,
year, yeah, you do some
you're right.
latest estimate, I guess.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Make sure we're on
Year.
track. But yeah, then we do, to your point, yeah, we do track it monthly. I do anyway, just to make sure we're on track. And of course, you guys do too. You all do when we go through the financials, make sure we're on track with that too. Keith does a good job.
I'm just looking at the number.
You're good, you're good.
So the first time the commission really gets involved is May.
Let's see, yeah.
Into a timeline.
Yeah, I got rid of my timeline. Well, I think, and Nikki can correct me too, but I think that Blaine does get with the commission throughout the whole process, let them know, but as far as, them getting a package,
Mhm.
that might be in April where the mayor submits the recommended budget to the commission.
Okay.
That might be that.
That's right.
Is that it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
we do touch base with the commissioners regularly, so when we go on retreat with them, talk about budget priorities and things of that nature.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, so it's a good process. It works really well. And everybody stays, in good communication over the budget, what's needed, by all departments.
So when you look at that process, just overall, I
Mhm.
mean, how similar or different is it to the process you live
It's,
by?
yeah, I mean, it's fairly, we track the state budget, which is very similar, governor submits his budget to the legislature and then the legislature has their session and votes on it, and then it goes through the approval, he gets the veto, I don't know if the mayor gets a veto on anything.
Well, the mayor can certainly submit his own budget
Yeah.
or their own budget, but generally the mayor and the manager talk with each
Yeah,
other.
they
So
work through.
the priorities are pretty much in line.
And then we prepare our university budget in preparation for, that process. So we kind of send it up to the university system of, what we think we're looking at. It's a process.
It is
Yeah.
a process, isn't it? That's-
I remember when I was working for the Navy, it was very similar, except the fiscal year was different. And,
Yeah.
if we wanted to do a capital project, that actually required congressional approval for the project. So we would have to usually take 4 or 5 years to get the project approved.
That's some real planning.
Yeah. It was, unless, but back in the days when they had earmarks, they
Oh,
could,
yeah.
those were, a
Yeah.
little bit faster, but, when I was in, there was no earmark, so it was, had to follow the process.
Because you have all those divisions and departments within your
Mhm.
unit, just like
Yeah.
ACC does.
Yeah,
So where does the state feature in your process or the ACC process, or doesn't it?
The state?
Yeah.
No. You mean if I want grant money or something?
Well, I don't know. I mean, in terms of any inputs of finances or,
and you don't receive any money from the state.
No, unless it's a grant, but no.
or ACC in general, Nikki? I mean, it's purely local level.
Well, we get federal dollars. We're an entitlement city, so I know Mike gets
Yeah,
some dollars.
Yeah, I guess.
Housing
it's
fund
covered.
development.
yeah. So it comes, and those are funneled through the state though.
Nope,
That
we're
comes
entitlement.
straight from
That's
the
right.
Fed.
Yeah.
Mm.
The reason we get it from the state is, because we're a general aviation airport
Yeah.
and so GDOT, what's it called? Grant.
Block grant.
Block
Block
grant,
grants, yes, block
yeah.
grant. So they are a block grant, we're a block grant state.
Yeah,
So-
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's a state angle to the story as
Yeah,
well.
now if we had passenger service, and we were a true 139 airport, we would be working with the FAA and not the state anymore.
Mhm.
But since we're considered a general aviation airport right now, we are working with GDOT. So, that could change when we get passenger service, then we're dealing with FAA strictly. Yeah, and that's all on the grants. Okay, let's see, marketing and outreach activities. The only thing I know of is Davin, he had spent some time with some elementary school folks, I think.
Yeah, we had the Horizon Atlanta group come out, so we had some kindergartners and then some first and second graders. So we had 3 different sessions that came out, but this was the group that the first lady came in and visited back last year. And anyway, so Becca Shoppy, who's one of our line folks, helped give me the tour. Her aviation knowledge was much higher than mine, so she was able to talk about some of the planes, and the kids very much enjoyed it. So it was a good opportunity to show the airport off.
And that's all I have under manager's reports.
Okay. Thank you. Always interesting.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely. Appreciate all you do. Okay. Moving on, I guess, to old business, which appears we don't have any.
I haven't had any update from the Lexington corridor crowd, but they're just busy with, property acquisition and right of way issues. And I expect that's gonna go on all summer into the fall, so I'm not really expecting any, major updates right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like the interchange is coming together nicely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. that's about the only place you see the real progress, because right now they're in litigation and negotiations with
Yeah.
property owners the whole way along that corridor, so that's gonna take ages, but the mess that is the interchange, you could see that.
Well, as somebody who moved here not too long ago and saw what it looked like a year ago, I was like, I had no idea what this is gonna be, and now it's starting to take
I
shape.
know, that's true, isn't it?
What do they do here? I have no idea.
Well, and they've had mass wasting and slumping on one area.
Yeah,
And with all the rain, and they've had to redo it and it slumped again. I mean, I shouldn't be laughing, but I'm glad I'm not in charge.
Site work in the rain is not fun.
Yeah.
yeah.
Get everything paved and concreted in, and
Yeah.
All your drainage in place. Yeah,
We got a lot of rain too. A lot of rain.
And there isn't any update on all those issues with the judicial center and the library
No,
optional
that's
sites.
still
That's
in the
all sort
plan.
of in the mix still.
Yeah, in the discussion
Yeah.
phase right now, to my understanding. Yeah, but we do need to keep an eye on it, you know. Yeah.
there's a lot of development along this corridor, though. Some of those apartments coming up.
Yeah,
Quick.
yeah. Um,
I don't know what the occupancy rate is of those, I'd love to know. I mean, maybe I'm naive, or where they think all these teeming hordes of people are coming from,
Yeah.
but,
yeah. Well, I know if you want to bring industry to
yeah.
to an area, you need some people that are gonna work and they need a place to stay, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Rob Roberts, the Georgia Power guy, when he
Yeah,
gave those
yeah.
presentations, he talked about that it's not just for students,
Right. Yeah.
a lot of it is.
Got to
but
have some
it's-
workforce.
Mhm.
All right. Anything else on old business? No? Okay, new business.
Right now, I know.
Okay. All right. Moving on to the standing committees. Business and finance?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, all I've got is just, let everybody know, the strategic plan. Our plans, have been to review how we're progressing, this document. We've worked through this for a while. Plans have been to review quarterly, and so our first quarterly review is gonna be our next meeting, and talking to Mike and Diane just a little bit the other day that we mentioned earlier. And, I think we were saying we'll just take this document that we worked on and just, go through it and, show it on the screen and see where we have updates on all the items. Could take a little bit, but needs to be an agenda item for our, next month's meeting, July meeting.
And we must say thank you to Davin, because he did, change those TBD,
Right.
remember those?
Yeah.
TBD,
Yeah.
acronyms, and he did put in, timeline specifics with dates there, so thanks for doing that,
Yeah.
Davin.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And also it has been updated in ClearPoint, so that is,
Yeah.
set up. So Andrew Minish was very helpful in helping us get ours in ClearPoint, so we're good to go there.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's like that whole phase of work then is done.
Yeah.
We're all
Yeah.
in sync with
Yep.
ClearPoint.
Yeah,
Yeah, we are.
that's good.
Yeah. Did that one yesterday, today, so we're real current.
Yeah.
So next month, I guess, when we sit down and review it, see if we need to make any changes, then just update.
Sounds good, yeah.
Appreciate all your work on that. That's not an easy task.
It feels like a boulder's off our shoulder.
I know. Yeah.
Well, that's why I was so pleased when Devin, I guess you sent me that note on Friday. I said, finally, that's done, What it's worth, it's important. Because it's been going on for months. It's been a lot of work. Thanks for doing that, finishing it, Devin.
Okay. Any other questions on that? Operating.
No news.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Air service development and marketing.
Well, sorry, Mike.
Okay.
Mike has sent, I guess, something to the Air Service Development Group, the external committee. And so you'll speak to that. But I also just wanted to give you just an FYI, really, it's not a report, but if you like, in terms of this standing committee, we haven't met yet, but I asked Mike, and I thought, I'd also ask Grant when he's back, that sometime perhaps in August, we talked about the fact that, we might pull some people together to really have a planning meeting, looking to the next several months and the next several years, because the COVID pandemic is long gone. The shutdown is long over. And there are lots of things that, now that we've finished the strategic plan development to this point, there are those initiatives and other things that we had talked about in the past, and they're sort of sitting there waiting. And I think that it's time to probably say, well, let's actually just start looking down the road and saying, which are the things that we think, we're interested in doing or picking up again or starting afresh if they're brand new things. And so Mike suggested maybe to do that in August, because you'll be away in July for a bit.
Yeah.
To call a meeting, particularly of the members of that committee, but then also if others want to join. If we have to advertise it, who cares? So what?
We'll have a working session if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
and
but-
advertise.
I think it's time because we were preoccupied in the last several months with this strategic plan, and now that's done. So now we can look and say, well, what are we going to do new and different? I don't like, every time we have an agenda and then no old business, no new business. It's a gap. We need to start new business or, reactivating business.
Some of these things could be, strategic,
Yeah.
our strategic plan action items and where we are, and if
Yeah.
we've got gaps on that,
Yeah,
would, be needs for, well, how we're gonna get back on track or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're talking about also there could be new things.
There might be new things.
All the time, so.
yeah, because some things have changed, things aren't frozen where they were 2 or 3 years ago.
Right, yeah.
So I just think it's time, and Mike agreed,
Yeah. I mean, we had some good plans going.
We did.
Prior to the pandemic, we were gonna have, I mean, not a big air show. You can't do a big air show here unfortunately, but a good, a good show, fly in. And, maybe Appreciation Day, Community Appreciation Day, but also I know one airport, does, well, they bring in like, airframe and power plant folks, pilots, then they invite the schools out here and they kind of, have a good day and, just, kind of see what everybody does around the airport, that kind of thing. But, have a good, get the community involved.
Yeah.
Pandemic's over.
Would you, sorry. Well, I mean, would you invite like, local industry, new industry, even including, from Jackson County and so
Yeah.
forth, areas?
Yeah.
Potentially, have value in the airport.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the last 2 years, that's changed
Yeah,
Yeah,
significantly,
it has, yeah.
and we had, a whole set, they sounded like pie in the sky, or, wish list of activities and events and other things. And I think we need to sort of dig that out of the archive and do
Yeah.
it again.
Yeah.
And see, I just think it's time to do that. It's, so,
Yeah.
um,
Career day is what I'm thinking. Career day is what.
Yeah, yeah.
They invite folks out.
and there's a new Athens in Motion plan now, so the whole trail landscape paths and trails in this county has moved forward. There's a new parks, plan.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So Mike, you mentioned, well, Diane, are you gonna be here for the July, authority meeting?
I will.
Okay,
I'll actually
all right.
be back, that Tuesday. That day I'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Okay. So when Grant gets back, I'll send,
Yeah.
the committee a note and also Mike, and then we'll take it from there and maybe think about a date in August.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Good. Yeah, as far as, air service development, I did send out an email, to the air service development group, just to kind of update everybody and let everybody know, what I'm working on still. I'm still working with a couple airlines. But the pilot shortage is still a big deal with them, and we're looking like a year away from doing anything. But with that said, I still haven't meeting Hunt, Doug Blissett working on the market study. And, he said, give him through July and, or June and July, because he's got a lot of folks that really want this study, done again. And I guess the data came out back in April, I think. And so he's taking that data and refreshing it. So it's gonna take a little bit, but when he gets it done, then I want to bring him here and I want to invite him to come to the Air Service Development Group and talk there, but I also want him hopefully coordinated where we can do it the same day we have our meeting and then come and talk to us as well. I think we did that one other time before in the past and worked out real well. And he could make that presentation to everybody in the room. And he can tell us, what's going on in the industry. It's a lot of what I'm saying, but he's more in tune, because he lives it more than I do. So I'm excited about that, getting him here, and getting everybody, kind of on board and excited again, because I think things are gonna start changing. I talked to a guy yesterday and he was going through pilot training, and he said right now that the carriers are looking for captains, I guess. So I guess they have, and even at that, they're kind of moving the first officer up to captain. Sure, they'll be safe, but they're moving them up pretty quick, I guess is what it's saying. But they are qualified, in these airplanes, so I don't have any problem with that. But still, I guess they're still trying to juggle, their pilot issues and making it work. So hopefully within a year, we'll know something with American. And the other one is they want to come here in a year, so we'll see how that works.
I was talking to an instructor at Dragonfly, speaking about this hiring thing, and he's close to being ready to move up to a regional, and he can't even get an interview now because they've stopped interviews because they don't have any captains that have enough experience to train.
Oh, really?
Because the big boys are pulling all the captains from the regionals.
Yes, yeah.
So
That's what
Delta, America jacking up their pay grades, means all those captains are getting sucked out of the regionals. So now they don't have enough captains to train first officers.
Yeah, that's.
And they don't force the upgrade. So the other issue that you have it's all seniority based system. So the ones at the top of the totem pole as a first officer
Yeah.
are very happy choosing what lines they want to work, what base they want to work in. The minimal pay grade increase to switch to the left seat doesn't really benefit them if their lifestyle supports their current role.
Man,
It's a bit of
Yeah, they've created a very unique
really have.
nuanced system where,
Yeah.
the only way to combat it is throw more money in the right
Attract
direction.
the folks.
and they created this themselves.
How long does it take to grow a first officer or flight officer to a captain?
1,000 hours of turbine PIC to move to the right seat of the left. 120, so
Yeah.
working with an arrow.
And then you need 1,500 hours still,
So 1,500 to get into the right seat and then 1,000
go to the left.
typically to go into the left seat of the turbine time. And then.
which is probably about a year
Yeah, about a year of
of.
flying.
Yeah.
Not from your flight hours.
But,
Well,
yeah.
That you collect in a year.
Right, so that's what they're. An airline pilot's pay is based on about 1,000 hours of flying time a year, but they don't fly that much. They're sitting on reserve and they're, so a lot of them, especially at that, on that low seniority, they're on reserve. They don't hold these flights. They don't have that kind of schedule yet. So they may never fly, but they're gonna get paid 80, 70 something, 80 something, 90 something hours of flying time per month
Oh, wow.
to be on, to.
Which
Be
would
next
be
to
just to
something.
hang out. wait
Well,
for some
yeah.
work.
Well, it can be sweet, but what if, when your phone rings, you've got 2 hours to be at LaGuardia.
Yeah.
Well,
Then where do you hang out?
There's a guy on a YouTube channel that's going through this now, and a friend of his got on with a big airline, and he lives in Idaho. He's based out of Newark, I think. So he flies to Newark. He's low man on the totem pole. He sits in an apartment that has like bunk beds in the bedrooms for all the pilots on standby.
It's a bunkhouse.
Yep, and they just sit there, and he sits there for 6 days.
Yeah.
He can't go anywhere because he has to be able to be at the airport in 2 hours. You can't have a beer because you're on call.
Right.
You can't, so
Yeah.
he's locked in there for 6 days, and then he flies back to Idaho. And
And he may
Some
not see
weeks you never
the only airplane he may see is the one that's taking him to it.
Wow.
so when you start out, that first year can be kind
Right,
of miserable.
so to build that 1,000 hours to move, that could be 3, 4, 5 years.
Okay.
Just because
And have no life. Really,
Yeah,
I don't
in the
know.
beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
So if they're adding more flights this summer, because now the pandemic's over and they're hoping international flight and travel will increase back to former levels, is that gonna impact all of this? It should. If there are more flights, you need more officers and
I
more
know they cut
pilots, more
flights.
captains.
I know they're slowly trying to bring flights back online,
Yeah,
but they cut a lot of flights because they didn't, probably the
No
regional.
staffing.
yeah.
Well, there's staffing issues
Yeah.
at all the levels.
Yeah.
There's mechanics issues, there's FAA,
Air controllers.
air traffic control
Yeah.
issues,
Yeah.
all of them. Staffing is tight everywhere.
The travel blogs say if you're traveling this summer, be prepared for flight cancellations and.
Domestic or international or both?
I'm driving. I'm
Driving.
Yeah.
Or I'll teach you how to fly.
Yeah,
Small plane.
yeah.
I'm waiting till.
That's probably what I need to do if I wanna fly is.
Yeah.
Plan.
Yeah, I haven't looked at a airline flight in years.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just interesting, like Delta, the degree to which they prioritize
Yeah,
international over domestic, or regional.
they probably have no problem. They pay really
They-
good and it's
they-
good.
Yeah.
They're sucking up a lot of pilots.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
People going to Delta.
Actually, on a different topic, I'm not even sure what its name is, but there was an awful thing on the Fox news feed the other day about a person at Atlanta airport that was sucked into the jet engine.
Was it Atlanta or San Antonio?
San Antonio.
Delta.
It was Delta though. It was
Delta.
Delta.
It may have been en route to Atlanta.
I mean, there's a safety area where you're not supposed to
Well, it
walk
was,
in front of a plane.
it was a worker and apparently it wasn't an accident.
Yeah, there was,
What?
there was a note left.
No
Is
kidding.
what I read.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. it
I
wasn't
didn't know
an
that.
accident.
wow.
How?
I didn't hear that part.
I don't know if that's been corroborated, but I read it.
Yeah, 'cause I know they're pretty strict on how they operate on the flight lines. and,
Yeah.
You know,
But
Well,
there's
they're
not
like
actually a line where you say, don't walk over that
Yeah, you're
line.
not supposed to. Yeah.
But they're like, there's no need to change the safety procedures. There's no need to change anything. If they're not changing anything procedurally, it's because nothing could have been done to stop it.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just horrifying to the layman reading this.
When I was in the Navy, one of our,
The 12-year-old sitting in 10C.
Oh,
watching it out.
yeah, when I was in the Navy, part of our training, flight deck operations and all kinds of flight deck videos of, and one of the reasons that they always wore the cranials is because that would thaw out the engine before the person went through it.
Really?
So,
Huh.
cause it'd suck it off their head and thaw out the engine and then they would hopefully be,
I saw that one
Not in all
picture.
cases.
I went in
Yeah.
and out, and
Yes, well, he went in and, and didn't make it to the blades.
Yeah. That's,
That's one that's still on YouTube because he didn't die, so they left. it.
yeah.
God,
yeah, it's
I never
it's
did
dangerous. Definitely dangerous.
You're right.
is there a name for that zone that you're not supposed to get into because this will happen?
Imminent death.
But yeah, no,
Sort of does.
technical name, okay.
Uh,
Okay, sorry, I just,
Yeah, wow.
rather horrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say something, but I can't say it with it.
Yeah.
Likely not. That's all I have.
Okay.
On their service.
So I guess, if there's any other business, you have a few things on there.
Yeah.
Do they do the fireworks here at the airport? Is that?
Yeah, so, they'll come out Wednesday and they'll start setting up. They'll be on the, south side of the secondary runway like they normally are. We did verify today that, they'll have a protective barrier on the runway, like plywood, so that it won't, hurt any of the new pavement that we've got out there. And, so they'll be here Wednesday, they'll have it on Saturday. We're gonna try to keep them off the grassy and the muddy areas and just try to keep them all on the paved areas, so that doesn't get all messed up.
So they're gonna park in the field or
Yeah, they'll
Christian
park,
again?
they'll park there and then around like Lowe's, I think, opens it
Yeah.
up for them and
Yeah,
and then around. We're having regular meetings, with, the departments, police department, fire department, legal services. And we have a good plan in place, just like we always do every year. And so, yeah, it's gonna be a good event.
Is it a different crew that did it last year?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
good.
yeah. It's actually the one, I think, that's done the Braves,
Oh, okay.
is my understanding. But, yeah, so it's gonna be a really, really good event.
So when did it actually start coming to the airport? Because I remember years ago, it was at the
Yeah.
mall and then it was at Bishop
It's been
Park and then
around.
the fairgrounds.
And the reason I had it here, if you remember, is just because of the pandemic, you know, people stay in their cars.
Okay,
but
so
they-
is that when it began at
Yeah,
the
it's
airport?
like 4
Okay.
years ago, maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah.
This might
okay.
be the last year. I think they're looking at other areas now, you know,
Mhm.
because they want to open it up again, you know,
Mhm.
like you said, the pandemic's over. Let's
Yeah.
open it up where, you know, people get out and enjoy different events and, you know, vendors or
Actually,
whatever.
yeah, I never thought of that. People were confined sort of to their cars or stay
Yeah.
next to your car.
Yeah, and that was the reason.
Okay,
and,
I
You
thought
know,
about that.
so we
Yeah.
kind of helped them out, you know, and
Mhm.
we all agreed, let's do it here at the airport, and people can come around the airport and see it. But now, you know, things are opening up again and they're looking at other areas.
Like it could be a food truck event or something.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah. You know that I volunteer at the animal services shelter for a long time. And they were asking me about other locations because, you know, they have the foster for the 4th, where they have to try and foster out all the dogs because of the impact on the animals. And I said, well, don't ask me. I don't have any authority. You know, follow the proper procedure.
Yeah.
Because it is a
I'd
traumatic.
seen a note on Nextdoor about that. I didn't realize how close we were and that the.
Yeah,
fireworks
Yeah.
were-
and I don't think they can foster out all of the dogs, but they try to, because
They
it is
try.
really close.
Yeah.
And this time it's gonna have to be Saturday night, Sunday, Monday, and 4 nights, you know,
She said what they do, they'll play music, you know,
yeah,
so that they don't hear the loud sound.
put a layer on.
Yeah.
We did that for our dogs, we
Yeah.
put Mozart on and
Yeah,
it's
there you
fine.
go. Yeah, yeah.
They love Mozart, there's something about Mozart.
CBD treats, you know, the.
That's right, that's right, yeah.
I mean, you remember the one year I missed because our little terrier Sammy was catatonic with fear.
Yeah.
We had to actually give him, you know, trazodone and calm him down.
Yeah.
So I told them, I mean, I don't know what the proper procedure is, ask the, you know, the manager of the animal services department has to do it, the workers can't do it. It's
Yeah,
staff.
she's working and has worked hard to find places, you know, for them to go.
Yeah,
But-
and then propose other locations for next time. if they're
Yeah, and
looking
so
at
like I
other-
say, they are looking at other locations, yeah, as well.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
Out for 3 or 4 days, that might help them actually find permanent homes.
I know.
yeah, I know. Yeah. That's right.
So, yeah, I was looking online at what they've got, you know, about the event.
Mhm.
And they do actually say this time, they never used to in some of the past years, but they also say, you know, people are encouraged to leave pets at home,
Yeah,
so don't bring them.
yeah.
I was curious about the budget for it, and I actually asked my commissioner, Patrick Davenport, and he said it was 45K this time, or was it 46? Because actually a few years ago, it was much more than that, 45K.
For the fireworks,
Yeah,
last year, they didn't specifically complete the contract, so we've got 2 years off, and so this year's fireworks are gonna be larger. So we got a bit of a discount, and our fireworks will be larger this year.
yeah, because there was an online Athens thing in an article in 2016 that the budget was 82,000. So it was much more then, you know, so.
I remember one year, and it was spectacular. It was like 3 years ago, maybe here, and it was just, man, it was from start to finish, it was like it was the finale. I mean, it was good. Yeah.
Keith, you had a thought the other day. What was it that you were thinking about in terms of their rationales for holding it, aside from being patriotic celebration?
You know what, I do not remember.
Senile
I was
decrepit.
looking at my notes when we were talking, I don't see any note about that.
You said something about you wondered if they, you know, wanted to have it in one place to try and discourage people from shooting off fireworks.
Oh, yeah, it was a thought about whether, you know, the importance of, maybe, I wonder part of the importance of the city hosting a big fireworks event.
Yeah,
The value of that helped to reduce individuals in neighborhoods and
Yeah.
whatever doing their own fireworks and the dangers that are associated with it.
yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah,
It probably
I
does.
came here from Texas. It's like, apocalypse now on 4th of July.
It's not gonna work in my
Like
neighborhood.
there's just a layer of smoke in the entire neighborhood from so many fireworks going off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll stop people from doing it,
Right,
you know.
yeah, see what you're saying, probably less, maybe.
Yeah.
Is Georgia pretty strict on the fireworks they allow?
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, because they used to not sell them here, now they do, and so,
Border.
Yeah,
Yeah.
half will, you know,
For Alabama.
yeah. So now you can buy them anywhere, so it's kind of. works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In neighborhoods is,
Yeah, I was shocked. I had, where I lived in Virginia and been stationed and stuff, you didn't have you weren't, people did it, you just weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit mobile fireworks displays. They
Yeah.
stay ahead of the local police.
yeah.
I mean, we have to feed our 3 dogs early. 2 of them we will have to give some trazodone to,
Mm.
bring them in, turn Mozart on, close the windows, you
Seems
know.
like vodka would be better.
Yeah.
No, it's just very strange, you know, they just
Sounds like a good time.
I had
zone out.
had a Yorkie that was terrified of them.
Yeah.
That and thunder, and then my lab should care less. So.
Yeah.
It's funny, I think, you know, when they're rescues, I mean, the 2 that are so terrified, I think it's,
Yeah.
they were rescues, they were abandoned or something, and something happened in their past life, you know, that
Yeah,
it reminded
yeah.
them of. We have a lab that would care less too. So-
Yeah, they're tough.
So are you you're closing the property again, like?
Yeah, so the no public, except for the tenants, and others, that supporting folks. And, but the police will be at the entrance and then, route everybody wherever they need to go.
Mm.
How
Are they
long
gonna have
the
their
flight?
drone?
Shut down.
Lights, we'll shut the airport down probably around 8, I think. And then, once it's over, we'll make sure that the main runway is clear. And then once it is, we'll reopen the airport. The second runway, usually we'll have a sweeper here, through 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And we'll be here with it, but this year, the sweeper can't come that late, so he'll come Sunday. But that's okay, we'll just keep that runway, it's closed already. We'll keep it closed and then the sweeper will come and clean everything out on Sunday.
So does this come out of your budget, if I'm allowed to ask, or is it
Okay.
it's the central? like the
Yeah,
federal?
it's all.
Yeah.
So,
Cause it's a
I mean, I'm still-
community-wide thing, it's not yours, on your
yeah,
budget.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, we're just a host, we host.
Yeah,
But it would be nice to get to a point where you could do more than just shoot the fireworks off. Have the
Oh, yeah.
food trucks or the
well, yeah,
kind of little mini fair
Yeah.
type.
bring them.
The other thing I'd like to do, and we talked about this, is have like a movie night. Maybe shut down that end of the runway down there and have a big screen. And then invite folks to have vendors, or we could even cook hot dogs, and just have a good movie night. I know the sheriff's department's doing it. They're gonna have Mario, I think on the 8th of July, I think it is. And then, Athens-Clarke County has it all the time, but I'd love to have something here. It'd be good top event or something. Well, something that has top G-rated or something.
It's not necessarily bad.
No, I guess it's not, is it?
Yeah,
What you're, talking about, Jeff, I mean, it falls under, we've got a strategic plan for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
well, that's why I said we should have a meeting, because they think
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this, we need to. Yeah,
Did you have enough interest and decide if you're gonna do a drawing for the strategic?
Yeah, I want to do that, yeah. I'll probably put that out, tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. So my idea was, we've had several people come to us and, people want to be the first pilot, to take off on the new runway.
oh, really?
Yeah, and I've
Yes,
had
sir.
a couple folks, and I said, well, I think what I'm gonna do, is just, I'll put it out there to the tenants by email. And I'll just say, respond back to me and we'll get their name, we'll put it in a hat, we'll
You're
pick.
gonna have a drawing.
names. Yeah, and,
Oh,
but
okay.
the thing is, though, you have to be ready. You say the runway's open, you gotta be there. So yeah, we're gonna do that.
Can't wait 2 weeks
I got
for
his
somebody to
approval.
get here to
He
take.
likes the idea.
Well, you mentioned that, though.
Yeah, it's good.
So is there some sort of, aside from, the pleasure of it, is there some other benefit to it?
Oh, just bragging rights.
Bragging rights,
Yeah,
brownie
yeah.
points.
I was the
Okay.
first pilot to take off on there. maybe 40 years down the road. Yeah, I was the first pilot.
So are you gonna are we invited? Can we come inside the fence like you
Oh, yeah.
did last time? You gave us a piece of paper that told the cops at the gate
Yeah, we can discuss
not
that
to
for sure.
expel us.
Yeah.
Your name badge.
Yeah.
They didn't do a whole lot of checking.
Well, I mean,
The first
I am.
three, I just drove by
Yeah.
and waved. Didn't even-
As long as you look like you know where you're going.
They tell me to go away. So I need a piece of paper and my.
You can go anywhere with a clipboard and a hard hat.
Ladder will get you anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we have all the tenants, I can't keep them out, they have to be able to come.
yeah. I'll wear my badge, but I really would feel comfortable with a piece of paper.
Y'all have badges?
They don't speak.
Yeah. This man needs his badge. He's a nice gold badge to wear.
Well, it's a name tag.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
okay, name tags.
I was hoping
Yeah.
for an attaché badge.
Yeah. Be my first official badge.
Just get a shield.
Yeah.
Agents of the Athens Airport Authority.
So I'm assuming we're on schedule for 220, seemingly, even with the recent rain?
So we're probably a month behind, because right now is when it should have been up, really, it should have been finished by now. But, I think last Wednesday, when we had our construction meeting, we talked about that, and the contractor said that right now, he's looking at about 2 weeks, to get the safety areas done, maybe 3 weeks to get those done. And then, also a week in there, to do the electrical and the grassing. They gotta do all the grassing. And then, 2 weeks, I think from last week, was when they're gonna do the final, markings. So he's saying as long as the weather, stays dry, we're looking at about 4 weeks. Yeah.
So around the first month.
Yeah, I would say that. We just need some good.
I think we're gonna get it. I think we're gonna get what you're at. I've heard
Yeah.
like, this hot
That's good.
temperature dome is moving into the area for the next
We
couple of
really
weeks.
need it. Oh, my
I
God.
think we're gonna get that in spades from what I hear. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know, I don't like hot weather either. I like some rain, but not until we get this done. But it's been a good project, I think, as far as the budget goes, I think we're doing good on the budget as far as, project, we're not going over budget, I think it's looking good. I'm hoping that, we'll have enough money to do maybe some other things out there, add some additional markings, maybe on the taxiway. One day that's gonna be a project in itself, but that's probably 2 years down the road, but we definitely need to get remarked, so. Do that. We'll see.
When you say 2 years down, or like a resurfacing of the taxi?
Yeah, kind of like, the runway, like we could do. And I'm not gonna let them dig down. We're done with that. No more digging down. You leave that dirt right there.
Yeah. Okay. Any other? Okay, next meeting, July 25th, from 3 to 5, here in Flight Center Building. No other business. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Second, all approved?
Okay.
Any opposed? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks. My pleasure. This was fun.
Yeah.
Give him a badge.
Give me a badge. I'm gonna make sure I put this on my calendar for next month. Let's see.
You got a soft line?